Welcome to the Loud Little Ducky, y'all. We are going to go over Marraccini's response to the DVRO case. And Mike is finally fighting back. And he is leaving no crumbs on the table. He is done. And he is going to put it all out there. So let's get quacking. Here we have response to request to renew restraining order. Protected person right now is Laura Owens. They put his name. Omar. Do you agree with the request to renew the restraining order? He says, I do not agree. Additional reasons, I do not agree with the request, and he's saying see attachments. And he checked off for lawyer fees and cost. Check here if you want the person in one to pay for some or all of your lawyer's fees and costs. So they checked that box. Signed by Marraccini on August 22nd, 2025. And then August 25th, 2025, Omar Serrato, also known as Tilted Lawyer here, has signed it. Then it shows the signed and viewed receipt. All right. Attorney for respondent Michael Marraccini, Omar Serrato, is the one writing this. This is the attorney brief in support of Michael Marraccini response to request for renewal of domestic violence restraining order, also known as a DVRO, in the Owens v. Marraccini matter. Now, I'm going to make this perfectly clear for people who may not know this, which I'm sure most of you do. But by me reading this, I am not stating anything in this court document as fact. I have my opinions, and then there are receipts for things. I am just reading to you what Omar wrote to the court on behalf of Michael Marraccini. I know y'all get that, but apparently some people are confused. So I'm just clarifying here. By some people, y'all probably know who I mean. So, preliminary statement regarding exhibits. Several of the exhibits referenced herein are taken from a comprehensive digital forensics examination of Marraccini's laptop conducted on May 4th, 2024 by John Berryhill of Berryhill Computer Forensics, Incorporated, the forensic report. The forensics report is 2,489-page report and has therefore not been attached to this brief. Many of the exhibits in this filing consist of summaries, excerpts, or analysis drawn directly from the forensic report. Accordingly, each exhibit has been assigned its own exhibit letter where applicable and cites the corresponding page numbers from the forensic report. See footnote 1. All times in the forensic report are in UTC, Universal Time Coordinated, which is 7 hours ahead of PST. Actual events occurred 7 hours before the listed UTC time. So they're making that clear for us. Thank you. I appreciate that. So this is the report when Owens says they shared 2,500 pages of texts. So procedural history, petitioner Laura Owens. Owens has documented history of fabricating allegations of pregnancy, domestic violence, sexual assault, lying under oath, and presenting false evidence to the court. Exhibit A. Footnote 2. He gives the case number, Maricopa, Arizona, petition found baseless and fraudulent, referred for prosecution, leading to petitioner's indictment on 7 felonies, including fraud, perjury, and forgery. She is currently facing seven felony charges related to serial pregnancy, fraud, and perjury in the Superior Court of Maricopa County in Arizona. It gives the case number, including allegedly injecting herself with HCG, see footnote 3, so that she would test positive on pregnancy tests. Footnote 3 says human chorionic gonadotrophic, which is HCG. It's the real name for it, but nobody wants to say all that. Is the hormone that is produced by pregnant persons and is what caused someone to test positive on a pregnancy test. It is one of the reasons you can test positive for HCG, not the only. He says Exhibit B is the criminal indictment. Her last filing in California seeking a permanent domestic violence restraining order against respondent Michael Marraccini is the latest in a series of escalating behaviors designed to abuse court processes as a means of silencing her victims to prevent them from combating her fictitious victim narrative. Owens and Marraccini met in March of 2016 and engaged in an on-again, off-again romantic relationship that ended in August of 2017. During the relationship, Owens crafted a series of escalating narratives to emotionally manipulate Marraccini. This included fabricating pregnancies, miscarriages, or abortions, and fraudulently creating documents to support an ovarian cancer diagnosis. Owens used the traumatic fictions to coerce Marraccini into continue to date her, using 2 fake letters, underlined and bolded, from an OBGYN to encourage Marraccini to change his attitude, quote, and be more supportive of her. Exhibit C, and it says forensic report and lists the pages. Forged letter purporting to be from Dr. John Chung Kai Chan, authored by Laura Owens. And then he's got the snippet there, which we will go over when we look at the exhibits. Marraccini called the police on Owens on January 7, 2018. See Exhibit D. Owens had confronted Marraccini and his sister in public, yelling and screaming obscenities at him. 2 days later, on January 9, 2018, Owens obtained her retaliatory domestic violence restraining order, DVRO, in the Superior Court of California, County of San Francisco, case number. She was granted temporarily on January 10, 2018. The allegations in the DVRO were shocking, with Owens claiming extreme abuse at the hands of Marraccini, including using photographs from when she fell off a horse to allege abuse, and that it arose to such a degree she had to seek inpatient mental health treatment, an allegation she confusingly refutes in her previous filings. Exhibit E, the forensic report, and there are some texts there. On January 22, 2018, Marraccini timely filed his DV-120 response and denied all allegations made by Owens and noted her history of manipulative conduct, including her fabricated pregnancies and conflicting medical claims. Owens and Marraccini both submitted supplemental declarations and third-party witness statements. A hearing originally scheduled for January 26, 2018 was continued for further evidence, depositions, and declarations. Ultimately, on or about July 10, 2018, exhausted by the false narrative, Marraccini entered into a stipulated agreement resulting in the issuance of a 2-year cleats reported restraining order after hearing under Family Code 6200, without any admissions of wrongdoing by Marraccini. The order was set to expire on July 10th, 2020, so after 2 years. Notably, there was never any finding that Marraccini ever committed an act of violence. On the date the order was set to expire, July 10th, 2020, Owens filed a request to renew the DVRO, alleging continued fear and allegations of various violations by Marraccini, which he affirmatively denies. A hearing was held on September 11th, 2020, before the Honorable Sharon Reardon. Despite Marraccini's objection and without a finding of new abuse, the court granted a 5-year renewal under Family Code 6345A, extending the DVRO to July 10th, 2025. Between 2022 and 2024, Owens used this DVRO as means of advancing a fabricated narrative that she was a domestic violence survivor, like Amber Heard. She made multiple public statements, including a January 2022 TEDx talk. Here is the link. And a June 23rd Chicken Soup for the Soul essay. See footnote 4. All of which accused Marraccini of engaging in abuse. See Exhibit F. Footnote 4 says, Chicken Soup for the Soul, after determining Owens' claims in her entry entitled The Life-Saving Power of Kindness to Strangers lacked credibility, they removed the entry from their online publication. Yeah. Judge, everybody but TEDx wants nothing to do with this woman. Meanwhile, Owens continued to use her pattern of falsifying pregnancies with 2 new victims in the Superior Court of Maricopa. In 2021 to 2022, she sued an Arizona man named Greg Gillespie in Maricopa County for abortion coercion, quote unquote, after she claimed he impregnated her with twins and then later claimed to have aborted them at this direction. Case number Exhibit G, civil complaint Owens versus Gillespie. When he refused to continue dating her, Laura obtained a protective order, Arizona DVRO, against him, which she recently renewed. Exhibit H from 2023 to 2024, Owens was the subject of a public legal controversy involving another false twin pregnancy allegation against ABC's former The Bachelor lead Clayton Echard. Here's the case number. When Mr. Echard refused to continue to date her, Owens obtained a protective order against him as well. See Exhibit I. The paternity litigation with Mr. Echard went to trial on June 10, 2024, at which time Owens' prior victims, including Mr. Marraccini, were lawfully subpoenaed to testify. See Exhibit J, footnote 5. Lawful subpoena issued to Mike Marraccini, ordering his appearance at the June 10, 2024 trial of Owens v. Echard. In June of 2024, the Maricopa County Superior Court found Owens was never pregnant by Mr. Echard and granted his request for a finding of non-paternity. The court found Owens had acted unreasonably in the litigation, initiated litigation without basis or merit, provided false testimony, and that Owens' petition was fraudulent and made to incite communication, a relationship, or both with Mr. Echard. Moreover, the court found that Owens had a pattern of similar, if not identical, behavior. Owens was ordered to pay over $149,000 to Mr. Echard and referred to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for review. On May 6, 2025, Owens was indicted by Maricopa County Grand Jury on 7 felony counts, including fraudulent schemes and artifices, perjury, forgery, and evidence tampering related to the action with Mr. Echard. And then he's telling him to refer back to Judge Mata's ruling and the criminal indictment. On July 10, 2025, Owens submitted a second request to renew her restraining order against Marraccini, indicting her intent to seek a permanent order of protection against him, largely due to his attendance at the Echard Eckerd trial pursuant to a lawful subpoena. Trial is scheduled for October 21st through the 22nd, 2025 in San Francisco Superior Court. Introduction. Sorry about that. Owens has a well-documented history of making false pregnancy allegations, subsequently alleging domestic violence and otherwise abusing court processes when her victims do not wish to continue the relationship. Given this pattern of manipulating the court process to re-traumatize her victims, Marraccini urges this court to deny the request for renewal. Under California Family Code 6345, a domestic violence restraining order should be renewed only if the evidence shows the protected party harbors a genuine and reasonable fear of future abuse. Owen's own conduct, as evidence from her current 7 felony charges in Arizona, demonstrates that any claimed fear on her part is neither genuine nor reasonable, but instead part of an ongoing strategy of deceit and manipulation. Damn. Get it, Omar. Factual background. Owen's pattern of fabrications and inconsistencies. A. False pregnancy and miscarriage claims, 2016. Early on in their relationship, Owens began her pattern of faking pregnancies to manipulate Marraccini. Just 3 months after meeting, in June of 2016, Owens informed Marraccini that she was pregnant with his child, eventually sending a photo of a positive pregnancy test to support this false narrative, Exhibit K, and see the forensic reports. Within weeks, she insisted she was pregnant with his twins. Footnote 6, text message sent from Owens to Marraccini, August 19th, 2016, purporting to show she was pregnant after a string of text messages where Marraccini indicated, "No, I do not want to meet up. I am with my family." All right. No medical evidence has ever been produced to corroborate that Owens was ever pregnant, that she was pregnant with twins, or that she had to undergo the 3 surgical and 3 medical abortions as she would later allege. Footnote 7, which says between July 23rd through October 14th of 2016, Owens claims to have had 3 surgical and 3 medical abortions. Why would you have 3 medical abortions and 3 surgical abortions on twins? I, um, I would like more information from a specialist to know if that's even possible or would ever be needed. On July 14th, 2016, a month after claiming she was pregnant, Owens told Marraccini she thought she was having a miscarriage, which she later retracted. Exhibit L, forensic report. One day later, on July 15th, 2016, Owens again indicated she was miscarrying and that she was bleeding and on her way to the hospital. See Exhibit M. So the 14th, she thought she was having one. The 15th, she was having one, a miscarriage. And the text message says, "I don't want to actually cancel my appointment. I'm really having a rough night. I'm bleeding and feeling horrible. I'm deciding if I need to go to the hospital and I need to speak with you. I'm extremely upset. I know you are too, and I apologize for my part." Why does this woman, I know why this woman, always questions whether she should go to the hospital if she's having a miscarriage? The answer is yes, ma'am. Yes. I know why you question it is because, well, when you show up, because you're having a miscarriage, supposedly, they're going to be like, "Ma'am, there's no real babies here, so I don't know what you're talking about. You're just having your period." Like, there's a big difference. This claimed medical emergency is easily debunked with her social media posts that same day where she is depicted in a white dress drinking alcohol and partying. See Exhibit N. After going to the hospital, quote unquote going, like she says she's going, Owens informed Marraccini the pregnancy was still viable and called him to tell them they were having twins. So that was July 16th when she did that. So from July 16th to the 22nd, on July 22nd, 2016, Owens started claiming that the twin pregnancy was no longer viable and that she would take abortion pills. Exhibit O. Days later, she claimed that the abortion pills did not work and that she still had to undergo a surgical abortion. Exhibit P. Owens would allege a series of complications with the procedure, including that she was bleeding a lot and that she needed not one, but 3 surgical abortions to terminate the alleged twin pregnancy. Exhibit O. And he posts a screenshot of it, but we'll look at it when it's the real exhibit because I can't read it when it's that small. To support her escalating faux pregnancy emergencies, Owens manufactured various medical records. After the feigned multi-abortion ruse, Owens doctored letters from an OBGYN whom Owens claimed in her deposition for the Eckerd paternity case was a cancer specialist, to state she had ovarian cancer and had an oophorectomy. Footnote 8. An oophorectomy is a surgical removal of one or both ovaries. In Owens' case, she claims the procedure was performed on her right ovary. Bitch, please. With somebody who has PCOS, that could be a huge possibility. Even if you do not have PCOS, you can have that happen. As I said in one of my previous videos about the ovary removal, if somebody says that, they are going to have one of 2 scars, more than likely. One on the belly button for laparoscopic, and possibly one that looks like a C-section scar. My guess is Owens doesn't have either. Now, I don't know if Owens has had other surgeries because you can have that lower belly button for like your appendix and for your gallbladder and things like that. But I don't know if she's had any of those. So to me, if she doesn't have one of those 2 scars, she's a liar. And she would have to do wound care on them. Make sure she doesn't get like cellulitis and stuff from her surgical scars. But no talk of any of that. And then we will get to the deposition stuff here when we get to the exhibits. These fabricated letters perpetuate the emotional manipulation of Marraccini, with the doctors, quote unquote, telling Marraccini that Owens had real ovarian cancer. And the doctors strongly encouraged him to change his attribute, which I think is supposed to be attitude, and support Owens. See Exhibit S. And he also says, expert from the deposition where Laura Owens testified under oath in the Owens v. Eckerd matter. Then we have the Sutter Health. And we will go through those. I'm glad that he's putting clippets of part of the exhibits in the motion as he goes through. Omar goes on to say, Notably, even as Owens insisted she was suffering all these grave conditions, a high-risk twin pregnancy, multiple miscarriage, repeated abortions, and cancer, she continued to engage in strenuous activities. For example, during this very period, she was competing in equestrian jumping events. See Exhibits T1 and T2. In December of 2016, under mounting scrutiny, Owens finally admitted to Marraccini and her own father, Ron Owens, that she had never been pregnant, that everything was fabricated, and that she would seek psychological care. Exhibit U, Declaration and Deposition Transcript of Colin Scanlon. Marraccini continued to date Owens after her confession in hopes that she would seek the professional help she admittedly needed and that her family would support her efforts. Ultimately, Owens' manipulative habits only continued and escalated, with Marraccini having to call the police on January 7th, 2018, see Exhibit D. Little did Marraccini know that this would initiate Owens filing the underlying DVRO, which contained a false reality in which Marraccini was the abuser, despite an utter lack of verifiable evidence. Yeah, they just took her word. Who cares what any guy says? Just believe all women. And that is a huge problem in this world. These lies were not innocent mistakes or misunderstandings. They were deliberate, sustained fabrications. I lost my spot. About the creation and loss of human life designed to manipulate Marraccini into continuing to date her. This was the pattern of Owens' relationship with Marraccini and later her relationships with the other two victims in Arizona. In addition to this manipulative conduct, Owens has demonstrated a consistent pattern of retaliatory legal actions. When a romantic partner initiates legal proceedings against her, she responds by filing legal actions against them. The pattern is evident in 3 separate cases. After Marraccini contacted law enforcement regarding Owens' behavior, she filed for a temporary restraining order against him 2 days later. When Greg Gillespie, an Arizona victim, filed an order of protection against Owens, she entirely abated service and filed her own OOP against him 3 months later. Exhibit B. Similarly, after Clayton Eckerd obtained an injunction against harassment, Owens filed an order of protection against him 10 days later. When Marraccini ended their relationship, Owens continued this pattern by seeking a domestic violence restraining order based on false and completely unsupported allegations. She now seeks to make that order permanent. Meanwhile, Owens currently faces multiple felony charges in Maricopa County, including perjury, extortion, and conspiracy, stemming from precisely the type of falsehoods and deceptive behavior Marraccini experienced firsthand years ago. Inconsistent conduct undermining her claims of fear. Owens cannot satisfy her burden to demonstrate a reasonable apprehension of future abuse. Her behavior has demonstrated that her claimed fear is neither genuine nor reasonable. Owens' conduct towards Marraccini has been woefully inconsistent with that of an individual who genuinely fears for their safety. The evidence demonstrates that her pursuit of a permanent DVRO stems not from any legitimate safety concerns, but from a retaliatory intent related to Marraccini's lawful compliance with a subpoena in the Arizona proceeding. Footnote says orders of protection requested by Laura Owens against Greg Gillespie and Clayton Eckerd. Okay, that was what Exhibit B is in footnote 10. Affection and pursuant after alleged abuse. Owens portrays Marraccini as a violent, yet her communication reveals a consistent pattern. Whenever he distanced himself or took actions she perceived as rejection, she would respond with sudden declarations of affection or fabricate a medical crisis to draw him back in. For example, Owens asserts that by early July 2016, Marraccini had already acted abusive towards her. But on July 6th, She texts him, "I love and trust you." And that is Exhibit W. And those are the text, which we will later go over. And then similarly, Owen states she feels secure and loved by Marraccini in late 2016. After a March 2017 trip to Dubai, during which Owens now claims Marraccini was cruel, though no abuse actually occurred, she continued to initiate friendly, even flirtatious exchanges with Marraccini, stating, "I'm horny, baby." Please don't. That's disgusting. I don't want to hear this. Omar, you need to pay a penance for making me say that. I'm coming after you, tilted lawyer. Love you, and as late as mid-November, I wish we could get dinner. Exhibit X from the forensic reports, and then he attaches a snippet. Despite Owen's claims supporting her DVRO, her own message to Marraccini sent a year and 5 months into their relationship reveals a desire for deeper connection. In it, she expressly appreciation for his honesty and that he is not in love with her. I'm glad Marraccini wasn't just like, "I love you too," to just say it to say it. Because that word should have more meaning. Love should be special. And Owens is the type of person that thinks she loves a bunch of people. She doesn't. She has lust, infatuation. She falls hard and fast because she just wants to be with somebody. And so she thinks every person she's in love with. And I get they were together for a while, and so, maybe she did feel like she loved him. But then when he did not love her back, it all goes downhill. Victims of genuine domestic violence typically avoid contact with their abusers, refrain from pursuing intimacy, and do not encourage a deepening romantic relationship. Owens, however, repeatedly pressured Marraccini for commitment, urged him to become her boyfriend, and frequently professed love and trust, often immediately after the very incidents she now characterizes as abuse. Such conduct is fundamentally inconsistent with the behavior of someone living in fear or attempting to escape further harm. She love bombs, which is a sign that there might be abuse later, because many abusers use love bombing. They do it in the beginning to get you. Then once they've got you, they do it to get you back and apologize. You're on a seesaw that you cannot get off of. So if people love bomb you, question, why is this person doing this? Because this is too much. And Owens is a lot to handle. Props to whoever can handle her if she ever finds that person. But she's not going to find it by doing the shit she's been doing all these years. It doesn't work for her. I don't know why she's still trying it. But she is so insecure that she thinks by telling them all these things and coming on really hard and really fast, is going to get them, buying them nice things, buying them trips. You cannot buy love. Such conduct is fundamentally inconsistent with the behavior of someone living in fear or attempting to escape further harm. I think I already said that. Initiating contact despite the order, contrary to Owen's portrayal of Marraccini before this court as brutally violent, an arpist, pathological liar, stalker, and the source of her severe psychological distress. Yeah, all bullshit in my opinion. Owens herself offered to speak with Marraccini directly by phone as recently as last year. The willingness to engage in communication with an individual she has characterized in such extreme terms starkly undermines the credibility of her claims. Owens' readiness to initiate dialogue highlights the inconsistency and absurdity of the allegations throughout her case, Exhibit Y. And this is the snippet of the Gingras email where Laura was like, she will talk to him, and was trying to set Marraccini up for a violation so that maybe he couldn't come and testify. And the thing is when there is restraining orders and stuff on people, you are not allowed to talk to them, even if the person that has the restraining order says it's okay. If the court says it's not okay, it's not okay. I have seen so many times where somebody might have a restraining order on somebody and then they get back into a relationship with them and the state finds out about it and that person goes to jail. And they can say, well, she told me it was okay to come over. It doesn't matter what she said, or the court didn't say it was okay. And so Marraccini could have gotten in a lot of trouble for that and even been put in jail for that. But Owens knows that. And I believe that's why she was okay with wanting to talk to him. Further belief is Gingras and her came up with this plan together because this would possibly keep him from testifying or coming to the hearing as a witness in Arizona for Clayton's case. They knew he would be in violation if he talked to her. Thankfully, the lawyers were like, no. And Marraccini was also like, absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with that woman. She has made my life a living hell. So it says footnote 11, email from attorney David Gingras indicating after speaking with Laura Owens, she had lots of questions for Marraccini and that she was willing to speak with him directly, which would have been a violation of her current restraining order. The court must consider the significant contradictions between her stated fears and her actual behavior. California law expressly authorizes courts to weigh not only a witness's statements, but also their demeanor, conduct, and prior inconsistent remarks in evaluating their credibility. Here, Miss Owens' actions consistently undermine her claims. Rather than showing general apprehension of Mr. Marraccini, her conduct has demonstrated an ongoing desire to engage and provoke conflict. To renew a restraining order under California law, the petitioner must demonstrate that her fear or future abuse is not merely subjective, but objectively reasonable. A person who continues to actively to initiate contact or seeks confrontation with the purported abuser cannot credibly claim to fear them. Miss Owens' behavior, which includes pursuing communication, harassing, and even publicly confronting Mr. Marraccini, strongly indicates she harbors no genuine fear of him. Instead, it reveals a pattern of calculated provocation and manipulation. Owens' actions disqualify her from obtaining continued judicial protection. agree, because these protections, to me, are for real victims. Even if she was a victim way back when, even if, big if, there is nothing right now that he has done to her to have her put in fear right now. He has left her alone. See the pattern. Abortion coercion suit. In August of 2021, Owens had a brief encounter with Greg Gillespie, a man in Scottsdale, Arizona. After Mr. Gillespie refused to continue a relationship with her, she claimed she was pregnant with his twins and fabricated a sonogram to continue the ruse. When that failed, she claimed she had to take abortion pills multiple times. As the first attempt failed and the second attempt only allegedly affected one fetus. When Mr. Gillespie was not interested in seeing her again, she initiated a civil action against him, alleging he had coerced her into getting an abortion. That action was later dismissed, and forensic analysis confirmed that the ultrasound was faked, identifying the original source image that Owens had manipulated, but not before Owens could obtain a protective order against Mr. Gillespie. Exhibit Z. The Eckerd paternity scheme. In May of 2023, Owens had a one-night encounter with a reality TV personality, Clayton Eckerd, former star of the ABC's The Bachelor, in which no sexual intercourse occurred. Owens subsequently claimed she was pregnant with Eckerd's child, turned twins, an allegation that mirrors false scenario Owens had fabricated with Gillespie and Marraccini. Owens even filed a paternity lawsuit in Arizona seeking custodial orders and child support from Eckerd, all while inundating him and the media with supposed proof of her pregnancy. Exhibit A1. We'll look at that when we can see it better. When Eckerd contested the validity of her claims, Owens moved to withdraw the suit, claiming she had miscarried. The court denied her request, and Owens eventually signed a HIPAA release with false information, allowing Eckerd to obtain records that showed she never sought medical care, never received an ultrasound, as she claimed, and that she had doctored medical records as a part of her pregnancy fraud. That matter was eventually set for trial, and both Gillespie and Marraccini, Owens' prior victims of pregnancy fraud, were lawfully subpoenaed to testify as their personal knowledge of Owens' allegations. Owens' attorney filed a motion in limine seeking to preclude Marraccini's testimony, which the court denied. When Marraccini lawfully attended the hearing on June 10, 2024, Owens' attorney sought to have Marraccini arrested at the courthouse, contacting 3 separate police departments. That was a shock for me when I read that part, because who all did he call? Scottsdale? I don't know. I wonder where the 3 separate came from. So that's interesting. I want to know where that came from and where all he called. It says all of which denied his request, as Marraccini was lawfully present pursuant to a subpoena. Exhibit A2. Footnote 12 is Laura Owens' email demonstrating her reaching out to various media outlets to start a public scandal regarding Clayton Eckerd based on her lies, which mirror the allegations in this case. That's what the little clip picture snippet thing is. It's got tongue-tied for a minute. All right. Petition for court ordered paternity case, and it's got the number. Ultimately, the trial court judge found that Owens was never pregnant and referred her for investigation by the Maricopa County's Attorney's Office. In May of 2025, a grand jury indicted Owens on 7 felonies: 1 count of fraudulent schemes and artifices, 1 count of forgery, 4 counts of perjury, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. See Exhibit C. The indictment alleges that from March 2023 to June 2024, Owens engaged in an elaborate scheme to defraud both Eckerd and the court, conducted nearly identical to her conduct with Marraccini and Gillespie. Significance of the indictment. While the Arizona criminal case is separate from this proceeding, it is profoundly relevant to Owens' credibility and pattern of conduct, as well as her allegations against Marraccini. Owens is now facing 7 felony charges related to fabricating pregnancies, making several inconsistent statements under oath, and falsifying medical evidence. Marraccini has been identified by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office as a potential witness to Owens' fraudulent conduct based on his direct experience with her. See Exhibit A3, footnote 13. Marraccini was identified as a witness on the state's notice of disclosure, giving Owens clear knowledge that he would testify in the criminal case against her. Her filing this renewal is retaliatory and part of the same fraudulent scheme she initiated in 2016. Boom. Yep. She doesn't like it. She does not like it one bit. The parallels between Owens' conduct with Marraccini and Mr. Eckerd, including Owens' habit of obtaining restraining orders against her victims, cannot be understated. In both instances, Owens falsely claimed to be pregnant with a child, turned into twins, and when pressed for proof, she pretended to miscarry. In both cases, she produced doctored medical evidence to bolster her story, and in both, her lies eventually unraveled. Owens' modus operandi is disturbingly consistent. The court must consider the indictment as a critical to her credibility. In short, Owens has a clear pattern. She lies about pregnancies and abuse, and when confronted with evidence of her deceit, she doubles down by dragging her accusers into court to cast herself as a victim and to punish those who exposed her. The pattern has persisted for years, spanning multiple jurisdictions and a decade. Arizona courts are now grappling with the fallout as Owens faces criminal prosecution. Should this court, after hearing all the facts, determine that Owens has continued this pattern of falsehoods, this court must, not shall or may, must refer her for prosecution in San Francisco County and reassess the legitimacy of all filings in this DVRO action. Owens is dangerous and is continuing to harm her victims by maintaining this fraudulent DVRO action. Owens has shown she will not stop and that she is a danger to the community. It is virtually unheard of for someone seeking a DVRO renewal to simultaneously be under indictment for fraud and perjury on a closely related matter. Yeah, the audacity of this woman to be facing criminal charges for her behavior in one state, decides to continue it in another state. The balls and audacity of this woman. The evidence of Owens' fraud and perjury is significant, and it comes not just from Marraccini's assertions, but from forensic data, third-party witnesses, and judicial findings. An extensive evidentiary hearing is requested by Marraccini to disprove Owens' allegations in the court of law. Owens is a charged con artist, and this court should not accept any of her claims at face value. Her allegations should be given the highest scrutiny and fully address though, an in-person evidentiary hearing where Owen's other victims can testify. Points and authorities. A. Legal standard for renewal, credibility as a central factor. Under California Family Code 6345, a domestic violence restraining order may be renewed for 5 years or even made permanent without a showing of any further abuse since the issuance of the original order. However, the law is equally clear that the burden remains on Owens to demonstrate a continuing need for protection. In practical terms, Owens must prove by a preponderance of the evidence a reasonable apprehension of future abuse if the restraining order is allowed to expire. This standard has both subjective and objective components. Owens must actually fear future abuse, and that fear must be objectively reasonable under the circumstances. Yeah, and no reasonable person would fear uh, Marraccini. He has done nothing to her. Even when the renewal of the original restraining order happened, he still didn't go near her. It was he ran into people she knew, supposedly, but there was no proof. It was just a she said situation. As the Court of Appeals explained in Ritchie, if the protected party's fear is genuine and reasonable, the court should generally err on the side of renewal, given the protective purpose of the law. Conversely, if the claimed fear is not credible and not objectively reasonable, the renewal is not warranted. In assessing whether Owen's claimed apprehension is genuine and reasonable, the court should consider the evidence and findings underlying the initial restraining order, as well as any significant changes in circumstances since. Here, the original DVRO was issued temporarily in January 2018 after a brief hearing and was based solely on Owen's written declarations. When time came for an evidentiary hearing, Marraccini simply wishes to move on, did not consent to the order, or did not contest the order, and stipulated to a 2-year restraining order to avoid further litigation without conceding to any of the allegations in the underlying DVRO. Thus, the original order's findings were never the product of a rigorous credibility determination. They were unchallenged allegations. Now, with the benefit of hindsight and new evidence, this court is in a very different position than it was in 2018. Owen's behavior has culminated in fraudulent and criminal findings in Arizona. Her credibility is central to this renewal decision and must be assessed to determine whether her apprehension is both genuine and reasonable. California law recognizes that in deciding whether to grant equitable relief like a DVRO, a court should weigh the parties' credibility. Evidence Code 780 explicitly permits the court to consider any matter that has any tendency and reason to prove or disprove the truthfulness of a witness testimony, including prior inconsistent statements and the witness's character for honesty. In this case, multiple factors cast doubt on Owen's credibility and the validity of her claimed fear. Prior inconsistent statements. In July 2016, Owens assured Marraccini it's not a miscarriage because she was supposedly carrying twins. Yet in her 2018 TRO filing, which is the temporary restraining order filing, unequivocally claims to have miscarried, implying that Marraccini's behavior caused the miscarriage. Owens explicitly told Marraccini the miscarriage never happened. Likewise, Owen's current insistence that she has lived in fear of Marraccini since 2017 is consistent with her own communications and actions during and after 2017. She sent Marraccini numerous affectionate, casual messages well after 2017, even initiating face-to-face encounters with him, contrary to the horrendous abuse allegations contained in the 2018 TRO filings. Proven lack of honesty. Owen's credibility is virtually non-existent. This is not a mere he said, she said dispute. It is a case where the record shows deliberate fabrication. She has staged pregnancies and miscarriages that never occurred, forged medical records, and lied about having cancer. She has concocted stories of abuse and gone so far as to create false evidence, such as recycling an unrelated hospital photo to bolster her claims. Mostly telling, she now faces a felony indictment in Arizona for perjury and fraud, an official finding of probable cause that she lied under oath and falsified evidence. Motive to lie or exaggerate. Owens has clear incentives to misrepresent the situation. She has a pattern of using legal proceedings, like restraining orders and lawsuits, to retaliate against or control former partners. Here, her motive for seeking yet another renewal comes after she attempted and threatened to have Marraccini arrested for responding to a lawful subpoena in Arizona. Owens faces public disgrace and legal consequences for her actions. A DVRO is a powerful tool that Owens has used as a weapon rather than a protective measure. Yeah, she uses it as a sword and a shield. The court should be mindful extending it under these circumstances rewards her misuse of the system. Exactly. Owens has failed to meet her burden of proving a genuine, reasonable fear for future abuse. On the contrary, the evidence indicates that she does not truly fear Marraccini. She fears losing control of the narrative she has constructed that is falling into pieces in the light of the Eckerd case. Owens is a disgrace to genuine victims of domestic violence and cannot be permitted to continue abusing a process that is meant to protect victims as a tool to cause further harm. The DVPA was written to protect genuine victims, not to allow a mechanism for individuals like Owens to craft baseless allegations, punishing men for not wanting to date her. When a petitioner's credibility has been eviscerated as thoroughly as Miss Owens has, the court cannot find her purported fear objectively reasonable. Owens points to new incidents or threats in the 5 years since DVRO was last renewed. Or no new incidents. She points to no new incidents. Marraccini was scrupulously complied with the order. Owens' case for renewal thus rests entirely on recycled allegations from the past, allegations that are demonstrably false. Marraccini's compliance with a legal issued subpoena and a forensic investigation of his communications with Laura, inspired by Owens, continued defamation of his character through her public identity as a fake victim. With no misconduct by Marraccini and with Owens' credibility in the ruins, there is no legitimate basis to continue the restraining order. There is, however, a legitimate basis to refer Miss Owens for criminal prosecution in the state of California. Finally, the court should consider the broader policy implications. The Domestic Violence Prevention Act noble purpose is to protect true victims of abuse. The purpose is undermining if the system is hijacked by false claims. Courts have warned against using restraining orders as tactical weapons rather than shields. And then let's look at his footnotes. In Leah v. Peterson, the appellate court reversed the renewal of a civil harassment restraining order because the Superior Court failed to require evidence of new harassment as mandated by California Code Civil Procedure 527.6. The court highlighted that granting a renewal based solely on protected parties' request and subjective desire without proper legal standards impedes justice. The court referenced Ritchie v. Conrad to stress that protective orders impose significant burdens and should not be extended without significant grounds. In Ritchie v. Conrad, the court held that the trial court erred in renewing a protective order merely because the protected person requested it. The court emphasized that renewals require a finding by a preponderance of the evidence that the protected person has a reasonable apprehension of future abuse. The court warned against using protective orders as automatic extensions without proper evidence, as this could lead to misuse and unnecessary burdens on the restrained party. Yeah, like keeping them from getting certain jobs. It messes up background checks. It doesn't look good. It makes them look like horrible people. And that's why they only need to be given to people that actually need them. Marriage of FM and MM, not the same MM in this case, this is a different MM. The court underscored the domestic violence restraining orders under the Domestic Violence Prevention Act, DVPA, are meant to prevent future abuse, not to punish past conduct. This is what I talked about earlier when I said even if she had fear back then, nothing he has done recently allows this to be granted, in my opinion. The court emphasized the importance of considering evidence of post-filing abuse and ensure that the orders are based on reasonable proof of ongoing or future threats, rather than being used as a tool for other purposes. Granting renewal in this case, despite overwhelming evidence of Owen's dishonesty, would send a dangerous message. The court will tolerate and even reward perjury and fabrication. It would encourage others to misuse DVROs for ulterior motives. In contrast, denying the renewal here would affirm that this court will not be made a tool in a fraudulent narrative. Will not be made a tool, and the court will not look like a fool. Denial of Owen's renewal request would fortify the faith of the California DVRO process and ensure that its protection remains reserved for those who genuinely need them. Conclusion. Owens has built her case on a foundation of falsehoods. She lied about being pregnant with Marraccini's children. She lied about suffering miscarriages and undergoing escalating emergency medical procedures that never actually occurred. She lied about having cancer and crafted fake doctor's notes telling Marraccini to be supportive of her. She lied about Marraccini abusing her, even misrepresented evidence to support that lie. Owens lied in her submissions to this court, and she lied under oath in 2 other pregnancy cons in Arizona. At every turn, when the truth threatened to undercut her narrative, Owens chose to double down. A person with this habit of deceit cannot be deemed credible, and her motives in seeking a renewal of a DVRO cannot be assumed to be pure. The court must carefully consider whether justice prevails by imposing severe restraints on Marraccini's liberty, potentially permanently, under these circumstances. Owens has not been subjected to any abuse by Mr. Marraccini. The evidence indicates that Owens is the instigator of conflicts and that she is committing to tormenting Marraccini for the rest of his life. Her bid to renew the restraining order is not a plea for protection born of genuine fear. It appears to be a ploy for vindication and continued leverage. For the reasons set forth, Respondent Michael Marraccini respectfully requests that this court deny Owen's request for renewal. Moreover, if the court determines that the original 2018 restraining order was procured through extrinsic fraud, it should be vacated under the Code of Civil Procedure 47.3d. The seriousness of extending or potentially making permanent a DVRO requires strict adherence to due process and fundamental fairness, particularly where substantial evidence shows the underlying order was obtained under false pretenses. Although Marraccini stands ready to address the merits of Owen's allegations, these procedural defects alone provide an independent basis to dissolve the existing order and deny any further extensions. In sum, justice requires this court not continuance, perjury, and reward fabrication. Owens has had her day, indeed years, under the protection of an order that was predicated on false claims. That chapter should now close. Marraccini respectfully requests that the court allow the restraining order to expire, restoring his freedom and good name. Dated August 19th, 2025, respectfully submitted by Omar Serrato, aka the Tilted Lawyer, the attorney for Michael Marraccini. Exhibit A to this filing is Judge Mata's ruling from June 17th after the June 10th hearing. Exhibit B is the felony indictments. We have gone over both of those. If you have not seen them, I will put them in the description box so that you can go and view them yourself. Here is Exhibit C. Ovarian cancer, Owens. Dear Laura, thank you for your email. I am sorry you are going through such a rough time right now and will do my best to help you through it. The doctor is not writing this. A nurse would probably be writing back to you, but maybe your doctors do write love letters to you. I don't know. I read the message you sent me from your boyfriend and answer his questions. Stage IA is without a doubt considered to be a true cancer and something that we take very seriously. You are correct, Laura, that this cancer is found only in one ovary. He is incorrect in saying that this means you just might have malignant cancer cells. Please tell him that yes, I have diagnosed you with real ovarian cancer, not something that just may be there. I am not sure what is meant by the message you forwarded that says I would only be diagnosing it if there was something other than stage IA. That is a very real stage and simply means that it is not spread beyond your right ovary. I recommend looking at the American Cancer Society's webpage for more information. In addition, you can let him know that your diagnosis and treatment has been complicated by your pregnancy, which on its own has been extremely difficult and unusual. I would strongly encourage him to change his attitude and support you at this time. I sincerely hope things get better. All the best, John Chung Kai Chan, MD. And then this other one, let's see, that one was sent on August 13th of 2016. This next one is sent, and it says 8/30. Sounds like the subject or the headline. And this is from Dr. Rebecca Yee on August 31st, 2016. So the numbers are just switched on the days. Hi, Miss Owens. Yesterday, 8/30/16, you received an ovary removal surgery oophorectomy on of your right ovary, as well as a surgical abortion. Due to your recent medical history, I will wait to confirm pregnancy termination with until blood work and a follow-up ultrasound are completed. Although there were no complications during the procedure, as you explained to me, you have already experienced emotional side effects such as extreme fatigue, depression, and mood swings. These are common, and I would ask your boyfriend to support you during your recovery. Best regards, Dr. Rebecca Yee. Nobody is commenting on the boyfriend. In the Dr. Chan one, she signs it with her signature phrase, all the best. And symptoms can come on quickly right after a hysterectomy, possibly with one ovary removal. I noticed it really badly after I had my hysterectomy. Um, I was younger with my other one. I think I was emotional too, but I don't know if I chalked it up to the hormones and having one of my ovaries removed. I think I chalked it up to being young and emotional. So I didn't connect the two, but I definitely noticed it when my second ovary and uterus came out. And then they gave me an injection of hormones like within an hour of surgery to try to counteract it. But oh man, was I horrible to be around after that surgery for a little bit. Cause yeah, it was bad. Bad times. Feel bad for the guy that was taking care of me during that time because I was not fair to him at all. Here is Exhibit D. This is when Marraccini called the police on Owens for her behavior in starting a fight, and the police um, that were there that day. Exhibit E. This is where she is saying she has petechiae or that you can get from strangulation. This looks like a rash, no sleep, and some rosacea, rosacea, rosacea. Um, looks like she has sensitive skin. Um, definitely photoshops pictures and uses filters because this is like raw and rough. That's not what she looks like in any of her pictures. Right. Let's look at these texts. I've answered all your questions today, and I have asked you to get help. This is Marraccini. I told you to prove it with actions. I'm not going to keep taking more questions until I see you do something for me. I'm tired of doing your merry-go-round and want you to get help. This is December 11th, 2016. Owen says, I just said that. I'm going to check myself in now. I'm on my way. I just said that. And then she sends a screenshot. I'm going to check myself in now. I'm on my way. Oh, okay, some of these are sent twice, so we have to make sure we don't do that. Maricini says yes. I don't have my first appointment until 8, so I get to check my phone, which you don't get access to that when you've checked yourself in usually. I'm really upset. I was trying to be really nice. I thought that would mean something to you. Yeah, it means you're manipulative as hell. I mean, to be this fantastic partner for you, and I don't know why that seems to annoy you. It's not that I don't want to live in the present. I was just trying to thank you and let you know you deserve the best, and that's what I want to be for you. But you're trying too hard. Stop trying so hard. Please get back to me before I lose my phone. I'm really worried you're upset with me. Continuing on. Please say something. I begged for my phone back after the first session. Please get back to me. I can't focus. It don't matter if you begged for your phone back, they are not giving it to you. You know, people in the mental hospitals deal with whiny people crying and throwing tantrums all the time like toddlers. And you think they gave in to your ass to give you your phone back? Get the fuck out of here. Please, my next session is at 10, and now I really worried you're not getting back. I won't get to check my phone again. Question mark. Please, I don't feel like I can do this right now because I have clearly pissed you off. And then it's got some data. All right. And then I just want to check myself out now. I fucked everything up. Ma'am, you need to be in there. You're probably not in there because this is not how it goes. But you would need to be in there and not sign yourself out because you are worried more about somebody being mad at you and you not leaving them alone enough to concentrate on your therapy, which is why you don't need to have your phone in there and why they wouldn't give you your phone because they want you focusing on treatment. Part of the reason all of this is bullshit. Please say something. I cannot focus at all, and I don't understand why what I said didn't mean anything to you. I want to be this great partner, and all that seems to do is frustrate you, and I don't get why. Because you're annoying as hell. Question mark. I need to just check myself out. I can't do this. Please, I want to stay and get better, but I just feel like I've screwed everything up. Please. Are you okay? Should I text Stephanie? Mike? I'm not even supposed to have a phone at all. I just can't focus on getting better or therapy or anything because I don't know what is going on with you. And I have screwed up everything, which I think I have, and I hate myself so much for it. Hello? Like she just keeps going. Okay, we are on December 12th, 3:39 UTC. And they were saying 7 hours earlier. 2 1 so 8 p.m. I'm guessing. I had my phone for a bit. I just finished up for the day and I'm feeling better, but I'm extremely worried about you. I go to check my phone one more time. I'm praying nothing happened to you and that your stepdad is getting better. Shut up and keep his family out your damn mouth. You are so self-involved. How does he have time to focus on his family when you won't leave him alone? I would have turned my phone off. Getting this many damn text messages. This place is absolute hell, and I will never come back. Please text me back as soon as you get this, and I know how important you and your happiness is to me. I am learning the tools to make myself happy and in turn make you happy. I'm here at least through tomorrow afternoon, as I don't think I'm ready to go home, even though the 24-hour hold is lifted. Woman, you haven't been on a 24-hour hold. You've been on your phone. And then I'm going to continue really thoroughly outpatient treatment in the mornings for a while. Yeah, things that never happened for 100. Will you please keep up your end of the bargain if I stay here longer? I will really try. Just please try not to resent me forever for the weekend. Resent me forever for the weekend? I will work to build your trust up. I care about you more than I can say. And I want to get better so I can better myself and be good to myself and everyone around me. And then we can go step by step the right way. Can we just be partners in that? I'm sorry we have been at each other's throats, and I want to show you that I mean it. I will lose my phone soon, so if you could respond, it would mean a lot. And I also have one more thing. Dear God. I'll call you when I get my phone back. Okay. So that was. Oh, she said she was finished at the day, like at 8 something in the morning, because this is. Okay, so that was 3 something. Yeah, okay, never mind. All right. She wanted to share something with you today. All right. I forgot to tell you that my therapist is wanting me to set aside time at the end of each day to focus on what I'm grateful for. I am so incredibly thankful for you and your care towards me. It's interesting because one of the things we talked about was some quote, love quote, and how much anxiety I have had about that in our relationship. It really hit me over the head today and just over this past weekend. You showed me the love more than I have ever felt from any guy. It got me really emotional. I feel your feelings for me, and I don't want you to think they went unnoticed. You are so wonderful and appreciated by me, and I promise to show you how lucky and proud I feel to be with you each day. My goal is to each moment with you and appreciate every baby step that eventually leads to bigger things. You deserve the world, and I am not going to try. I am going to give it to you as the great partner you deserve. XOXO. Oh, God, this woman is exhausting. And what feelings are you feeling? Because apparently he has told you that he doesn't love you. I don't know if he told you that at this point. I really hope that went through. I'm going to lose my phone soon, and it means a lot that you read it because it might put a smile on your face before bed. Also, one more good thing too, but I'm not sure you're getting the. Let me know if you can respond while I still have my phone. And I have something to tell you that you'll be excited about. Notice she is trying to love bomb him. She's apologizing. She's trying to say, hey, I have some news. You really need to, message me back because I have stuff to tell you. Like she's trying to goad him into talking back to. I also had wanted to let you know that we're invited to these and that my boss is very understanding and said we can just start again next week. But my text to you is more important. I'm going to talk about what I said and what you said in the morning individual session. I know you'll be great in your review and I'll be thinking about you. And then she sent a bunch of shit. Mm. Did you get a chance to read it? I'm at a quick break before my next session. This is not how therapy works when you're inpatient. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I'm so happy to hear that. This is Mike responding now. I'm so happy to hear that. You should be grateful for so much, and I'm glad to see that. I'm also excited to hear you're looking forward to the baby steps. Keep trekking ahead. He says, and I have never heard of those movies, but I'll check the trailers out. So, no lovey-dovey stuff to her. Glad that, she needs to be grateful for what she has, and glad she's excited about baby steps and, keeping her on the path to better mental health. That's it. After all that stuff, that is what he says. He then asks, "Did you buy followers for relevant radio?" LOL. Owen said, LOL, "I might have to give us a boost. They were supposed to be American. I'm gonna be out tomorrow. See you tomorrow night, right?" Smiley face. "I'm looking forward to seeing you, and I can't even stand it. I just can't wait to start our whatever journey together and be the person I've always intended to, but haven't. I've learned today that I have left so many insecurities and my desire to be perfect interfere with our relationship, and realize you have never asked me to be perfect, but rather just to be myself." Yeah, and you're still struggling with it, probably because you never went and got the therapy. "What I am grateful for with us from my counseling sessions on our relationship today, you accepting me, flaws and all, the way I feel, your unconditional love." Never once did he say he unconditionally loved you, I don't think. He might have, but "your kind and selfless heart, how I'm always learning something from you, your patience with me, and your belief in me to be better and stronger person even when I give up on myself. I see myself as a worthy person and a partner now, and realize I have a lot to give you that you haven't seen yet. I want to do all the therapy sessions tomorrow, so I will leave at 4 and be back by 5 or 5:30. Really can't wait to hold you and see your smile, make you smile. XOXOXO." She says, "All okay? I hope I didn't say something wrong there. Did you read what I wrote?" Marraccini says, "You didn't say anything wrong. I've been busy and I'm just getting in bed." Sent some more movie recommendations, like Why Him. She says, "I'm so sorry it didn't go well. Still proud of you, and hopefully we can work hard on the radio stuff next week and make big money. Also wanted to send you these too. I'm just eating breakfast, but I had a session this morning and it got me thinking. What are things I can do / work on that would make you proud to be with me? I'm going to talk about answers to that in my individual sessions next." Ma'am, focus on yourself, making yourself better, not what you need to do to be someone that your partner wants. All you need to do is be yourself. And if your partner can't appreciate that, they're not the partner for you. She says, "I'll see you later and we can cuddle, right?" She says, "I'm sad, so sad. I know I can get through it. Cuddling later. I'm going to have a surprise." She says, "I'm leaving, so I will see you when you're home. Is that going to be for dinner? I can pick up takeout for us later," because this bitch probably does not know how to cook. All right, we are going to end part 1 here. with our quote. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. And this, to me, goes so well with Marraccini finally fighting back. He tried to be nonchalant. He tried giving her what she wanted. He tried leaving her alone. He has tried everything. And he has put his foot down and said, enough is enough. You're not going to do this to me anymore. And so, with the strength of not just being the one guy and, oh, they always believe the girl and, they just will hand them out and I'm just going to be the bad guy, But because Marraccini has support behind him, he has more evidence of things now than he did back then to fight her. And he has found the strength to go up against this woman once and for all. And we need to celebrate that. You have strength inside you that you never knew about. You just have to push forward and you will survive. And you will have loved ones behind you, support. We have a community here to back you. And that goes for any of you listening to this. There's somebody in your corner. That's going to be it for me for this video, and I will see you in part 2.